Welcome to Florida Gators Live number 25. We have a lot of roster news for this video, some recruiting that is taking place, some basketball news with Xavier Lee and Denzel Aberdeen. But I want to start off the show just mentioning Lee Corso. He announced his retirement from College Game Day. It is going to be on August 30th for week 1. I assume they're probably going to go for the Ohio State-Texas game, but there is a small chance they go to Alabama-Tennessee. Or not Tennessee, Alabama, FSU. That game's at FSU, right?
It is at FSU. I almost think because of the Corso connections, they might do that game.
Well, doesn't he say like Brutus was his first love and stuff all the time on College Game Day?
He might, yeah, I think he does say that. But he went to FSU, didn't he?
Yeah. He coached at FSU.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's connections both ways. I think they're going to do Ohio State, Texas because it's such a big game. It's going to be a top 5 matchup. Maybe could be a top 3 matchup. It's just too big of a game, and there's still a lot of connection with Ohio State. Brutus, I mean, I'm not saying I'm happy he's retiring, but it's also like it was time for him to retire.
Yeah, no, oh, sorry, go ahead. Finish what you're saying.
No, yeah, it's like when your favorite football player or basketball player retires. It's like, I mean, I love watching it play, but, you know, those points per game, the yards are going down steadily now. It's probably time to hang up the boots.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, Lee Corso's been on game day as long. I mean, he's been on it from the start. So certainly as long as I've been watching it. You know, like, I think you're right, though. I think it was time. I mean, they kind of were winding up, or you're winding it down, I suppose. You know, he hadn't been appearing on every weekend recently. But I mean, man's about to be 90 years old. If he isn't already,
Really?
he's about to. Yeah, he's either is 90 or will be 90 like by the start of the football season.
Yeah, he'll be 90 August 7th, so he'll be 90 years old come week 1.
Yeah, I mean, unbelievable he's even done it this long. Guy had a stroke in 2009. Guy had a stroke I'm not laughing about that, but the guy had a stroke 16 years ago and came back, had to like relearn how to communicate. Professional communicator, came back and did the show for, you know, almost 2 more decades. It's really, really just impressive.
And he did it until like COVID happened. He did it at a really high level. It was still a good show. He was still giving a valuable input, but now recently it's just, you can tell the age is getting up there to him.
Yeah.
But, you know, it means we're never going to get to see him put on a Gator mascot helmet on again. So that sucks. I wonder what they're going to do. If they're going to do anything to, like, replace it, like, what are they going to do in his honor and the honor of making that pick?
Yeah, they're going to do like some sort of honorary Mr. Two Bits kind of vibe thing. That's a good point. I hadn't really thought about that.
Maybe they do something with Pat McAfee.
Oh God. If they make Pat McAfee the new Lee Corso, that's going to actually like hurt my soul a little bit.
You don't like Pat McAfee that much?
I don't dislike Pat McAfee. I think I don't like have anything against him. I just think his presence is kind of weird. Like he's just loud and very like he's not Corso, you know what I mean? Like he doesn't feel like a Corso replacement. He kind of is just his own thing.
Well, I'm just talking about the pick, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I guess he'd probably be the best person there that's suited to do that, but make Saban do it. That would be awesome.
Oh my God.
Make Saban do the headgear pick.
You think Saban's going to put on a big Brutus hat, helmet on, or headgear on?
Not unless he's under duress, but if we could put him under some duress, maybe he would do it.
I mean, you get lucky to get him to put on Alabama Crimson Tide headgear on.
Yeah, I don't think he would do that.
You're not getting anyone else.
I don't even think he would put the elephant. I don't think he'd even put the elephant head on.
No, he wouldn't. He definitely wouldn't. But let's get into the show now. People leaving, I mean, kind of goes hand in hand here. We're going to talk about Billy's roster retention. There's been a lot of talk about the Nico Iamaleava situation with him leaving Tennessee, going to UCLA. Has he officially committed to UCLA? Because everyone reported it, like Colin Cowherd reported it, but I don't feel like I've seen like an official post from like Nico or like Hayes Fawcett or anyone.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Nico has specifically. I mean, like On3 and 247 have like posted it, like reported it. ESPN, I think, reported it. So it's been like really widely reported. But I think you're right. I'm not sure Nico or his family have actually posted anything yet.
Yeah, I'm looking at 247. They don't have him listed committed to UCLA or anything. So
yeah, I mean, it's far along enough that we've seen an unofficial
yeah.
NIL figure for what his deal is. I saw it was like 1.6 or something like that, less than what he
Yeah,
was.
that was the number said.
Yeah, less than he was reportedly going to make at Tennessee this year.
And that's not even including taxes, which is a lot more in California than it is in Tennessee.
That is true.
But I mean, the point of this we're trying to bring up here is the fact that, I mean, we've had big time quarterback questions here of like the Jaden Rashada situation, which is now moving up in the courts. Like, I mean, I'm no expert in that, so I'm not really even going to talk about it. But outside of that, when you look at most teams that are losing like near 20 players, and it's usually a couple starters or a couple like very valuable pieces. But then you look at Florida and what we've done. Like, yes, we lost TJ Searcy, we lost Jack Pyburn. Is there any like big playmaker we lost this past year?
Not this cycle, no. I have to think back to last cycle to think of like who were like really impactful players who Billy lost, and it's Princely and ETN. Like that's really it. And I mean, I'm not sure. I think this team in 2024 is that much different with those guys here.
Yeah, I mean, to interrupt a little bit, I don't know how we forgot to say it, but like, Happy Easter, everyone.
Happy Easter, guys.
Of course.
We gotten so wrapped up in the transfer portal. Yeah.
Yeah, so much going on that kind of just forget it's Easter today. Yeah, Happy Easter Sunday. But getting back onto what you're saying, like, Billy hasn't really been losing any of his like major impact players. I mean, you talked about Princely and ETN. I mean, again, you see Ball and Jacoby Jackson come in, be the backup for Montreal in that ETN position, and they did just fine. They went for over, what did they each have, like 600 yards, 600, 500? They went for over 1,000 yards like combined. Yeah. Like, you got that made-up production from missing ETN, even with Montreal missing like 4.5 games that he missed. So you look at that, and we didn't really lose anything from losing those players. I mean, you go look at Georgia. Like, you go look at Dumas Johnson, they lost last year to Kentucky. He ended up being a really solid player for that Georgia team. Look at Alabama. They go and lose Caleb Downs to Ohio State, who might be the best safety in all of college football. Like, these teams are losing their best players. But then you go and look at Florida's best players from last year. Jake Slaughter, first-team All-American. He's returning. I mean, DJ Lagway, does 5-star QB. Some are projecting to be the best quarterback. Caleb Banks, Tyreek Sapp, Devin Moore. I mean, Billy's doing a really good job at keeping his starters, but specifically the ones that really irreplaceable to stay on this team.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that's the key. Like, I think you look at ETN and Princely, and it's like those are both very good players. Those are guys that are going to be playing on Sundays in the fall. But I mean, I think they're a little bit different. And in Princely's case, I think we had kind of all resigned that he was going to the draft anyway. Like, I'm not sure we really expected him to be on the team in 2024 regardless.
No.
And I mean, ETN obviously was pretty bad at the time. I think the fan base reacted to that one pretty negatively. But I mean, when you look at the season he had at Georgia, it was almost identical to the kinds of seasons he was having at Florida. And I think that, like, again, like you said, with Jacoby Johnson and Jaden Baugh and even Montreal when he was healthy, like, Florida just didn't really need help in the running back room this year. Like, they got ample production from the guys they had. Like, so I'll give Billy credit. Like, I mean, I've been very critical of Billy and this regime on a lot of issues, but I think it's worth giving them credit for the fact that they've built a culture, and sort of now that they've got their guys and the way that they want to identify talent and people, the way now that the building they've got, they're keeping it pretty together. They're not losing key guys. And I think part of that's, the culture building element and like who Billy is as a coach. I think part of that strategy too. I mean, we've always kind of been like, why aren't we doing more in the transfer portal? Well, I mean, part of that is because we used a lot of NIL funds to make sure guys like Jake Slaughter came back this year. So
yeah, Rob. George, is this the calling portion of the show? We just have to do the show early today. We got some plans later on, so decided to do it a little bit early. We'll have a call-in portion one day in the summer. We will do that. We'll have a call-in portion for you, Rob. Both of your guys' facial hair makes you look Amish.
Yeah, we got a barber appointment set for Tuesday, Rob. We're taking care of that. It's been too long.
It's not happy Easter for George. Ooh.
That sucks, man. I'm sorry to hear that. I've been dealing with transmission issues in my car too, and I probably need a new one as well. So that really sucks. I'm sorry.
I'm not gonna post this one on here, but oh yeah, I'm gonna go through the list of players that have transferred out for this offseason. Greg Smith, I mean, we'll talk about it a little bit later. It just got confirmed Thursday that he will be entering the portal. Was projected to be a backup. Was projected to be a solid depth piece. Again, it's not. You're probably not losing someone that would have been a huge difference maker. And we're already looking at somebody in the portal to replace him. Marcus Burke, it's time for him to move on. TJ Searcy, Jack Piper are the two guys that actually had valuable snaps. But you now look at that Jack position with Jaden Woods, LJ McCray, George Gums. I would be surprised if the play got worse at that Jack. I would expect it to be better. These are guys that had a limited ceiling. They raised the floor, which now the floor probably is lower without them, but the ceiling is so much more higher now. Gavin Hill didn't really do anything. Went to Florida A&M. I mean, looking at the other transfers, Arliss Boardingham with the Bowling Green. We had two players go to Liberty. Deuce Spurlock, Christian Williams, guys that practice teamers. I guess some bigger names like Kelby Collins and Jakeem Jackson going to Bama and LSU. Guys who haven't really played. I mean, they're guys you would like to keep on the roster because of their high talent rating. But, sometimes it's just time for someone to move on. And, I mean, Andy G, we've already seen now enter the portal again. And I know we got an offer from FAU. So I don't know where Andy G's going after leaving Pitt.
Yeah, I mean, I think the pretty common thread here is it's either guys who just are not playing a major role, or it's guys who are maybe good at something, but the ceiling isn't there. Like, that's kind of what I think, like, when I think about, like, Pyburn. Pyburn, like, really good player, good at what he does, good at what he's asked to do. I'm sure he's going to have a fine season at LSU this year, but he didn't really ever have a ceiling where he could emerge as, like, a 5-6+ sack guy. Like, that just wasn't going to really be him, I don't think. So, like, I think in this modern, like, would you like to have all these guys? Yeah, but, like, at the end of the day, you do have a realistic discussion, because in modern college sports, you have to kind of make decisions about who's worth using a roster spot and using the NIL funds on. And, if House goes into effect and we get 105 roster spots, as it is kind of looking like is going to be the case, that gives you a little bit more flexibility. But I mean, for the time being, I think there's an element of guys that you got to just kind of realistically, and I think it's kind of a mutual decision of coach and player being like, hey, this just isn't really going to work next year. And I think that, with maybe a couple exceptions, has kind of been the case for pretty much all the guys Florida's seen leave, especially this past offseason.
Yeah, I think there's another reason that we're keeping these players. I mean, I think it's pretty clear to tell. Billy is trying to build like a recruiting culture here at Florida, not someone that's just going to go out into the portal. I mean, we took 5 transfers. I mean, Harrison Bailey to be a backup QB, Caraway to be a depth piece just in case injuries happen. Sturdivant, now obviously someone that we took to come be the wide receiver 1. Kofi Asare, someone that high upside guy from a lower school. And Tommy Dunman, needed 1-year punter deal. Then even you look at last year, I mean, we took the wide receiver 1 with Badger. I mean, we took 2 receivers in DK. But then you look around, Cormani was a depth piece or somewhat 5-star guy that had the walk on, his off the field issues. And then Jason Zandamela, high freshman. He didn't even play a year. And same with Jamrock Jameer Grimesley. Like, those were 2 freshmen that transferred before the spring even happens. And then Grayson Howard, same. He was he would have been a sophomore last year, but still, guy that they won out of high school. I mean, Asa Turner, you brought in to be a 1-year deal. Gums was another high upside guy that played at the lower level. Turquez Bridges, someone that really stepped up. So it's like they didn't really go out into the portal and get players that, maybe could have been like higher risk players. Like a Walter Nolan, maybe could have been like a locker room, not a best fit in the locker room. they went and got guys that can help for like 1 year, or they got really young players. So I think it's pretty clear Billy knows what he wants in his locker room, and he goes out, recruits for it, and goes into transfer portal and stays on that specifically as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of it too is like Florida has money and from an NIL perspective, but Florida doesn't have a Phil Knight. Like Florida doesn't have some billionaire who's sitting here bankrolling everything they want to do. So at the end of the day, it's like, do you go after a Walter Nolan, or do you go after 3 other guys who could play varying, depth to starting roles? They've opted for that. And I mean, I think you can criticize that, but I think it's understandable too. Because I think especially before this year, the roster was kind of in a position where one guy wasn't going to make the difference. And that like being a playoff caliber team, you kind of needed to flesh out the depth a little bit and flesh out the pieces. I think we're getting closer to a point now where I think maybe you can afford to take swings like that, because I think the roster and the depth is in a pretty solid spot to where, can you afford to swing on a really high level transfer who's going to, require a pretty hefty NIL payday? Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but if it works, it helps a lot. Like, I think that is kind of where we're getting it to this point, but that just hasn't really been Florida's strategy under Billy Napier at all.
Yeah, absolutely not. It's recruit and get a couple of guys out the portal, and it's like, I mean, we'll see if it works. I mean, this is really the make or break year, so we will see if keeping your roster, the guys that you liked out of high school, is going to be the thing that works out, instead of going to get those 1 year portal players at every position you have questions about. Like, could we have gotten an edge to replace a Jack Pyburn or guy that had 10 sacks or 5 sacks at another school and come to replace Pyburn? Seriously, we could have, but we stick with LJ McRae's, the George Gums, the 2 freshmen you have coming in. We stick with those guys, and it's going to be ride or die. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That's really all we could say about it.
And again, if you go get an edge guy like that, maybe that comes at the cost of giving Jake Slaughter an NIL deal he'll come back to. Maybe that comes at the cost of keeping Damian George around. So, I mean, it's kind of zero sum to an extent, because like you just have to decide what is more valuable to your team. And they've decided that the kind of the volume and the sort of, I don't want to say quantity over quality, but they've decided they would rather have kind of a talent base to work with than just go get one guy and invest the whole season in that guy being a superstar.
Absolutely. Before we move on to the next segment, I'd like to remind you guys that we do have an Instagram account. We do have a Twitter account. You can go follow the Voice of College Football on both of those. VOCFB, at the VOCFB on both Instagram and on Twitter. They're right now posting a lot of like NFL draft highlight prospects. Like Maxwell Harrison, I saw Kenneth Grant, I saw Trey Amos from Ole Miss. They're posting a lot of that. They have graphics, rankings from other accounts on the Voice of College Football world. So you guys go follow us on there, posting daily, posting all the other channels that also go live for the Voice of College Football. It's really great work they're doing. So I'd just like to tell you guys to make sure you can go follow, like those posts. You can also follow or subscribe and like the videos and channels here, as we post weekly streams and we have videos nearly daily on the channel. Michael, if our backup QBs can score 50 points plus, just think when Lagway comes back, they're going to be so explosive. I will say, missing starters on defense, and defense wasn't going full. I mean, it's a spring game. That's the point right there. It's a spring game.
Like, I love the optimism, guys, but like, I don't think we can just expect Harrison Bailey is going to throw for 350 yards if he has to start a game in the SEC. Is that what he had? Is that what he finished with? Like 350 yards?
I think it was like 363.
That's crazy.
I mean, hey, Dallas Wilson's that good. That's what I took away. Dallas Wilson is just that good.
Yeah. I mean, it comes to a point, like 10 catches, like, yeah, maybe he is that good.
Yeah. Oh, I don't really see much of Woods. Like, again, the defense, you can just tell they weren't really going full, like, trying and everything. Yeah, we have LJ McRae. Yeah, I mean, did you see the Jaden Ball mic'd up post on Twitter?
I did. I did see that.
I mean, LJ McRae is just huge.
Yeah.
I mean, and there was also Amir Jackson and Dallas Wilson, of course, making nice catches in the backgrounds of those. That was a pretty cool video. Jaden Ball is pretty funny.
Yeah, I want to see more college mic'd up stuff. feel like we don't get that very often, but it's cool. I like it.
I'm pretty sure DJ could play corner if he wanted to. Maybe he'll play both ways next year. Corner and cornerback. I mean, hey, all they need is back in it. So,
well, hey, if Devin Moore gets hurt in the current state of things, he might be one of our top 5 best corners at that point, because we don't necessarily have a tremendous amount of depth at corner right now, at least proven depth.
Yeah. Going from corners, we'll go to the safety position now.
Mm-hmm.
It was reported on Monday or Tuesday that Greg Smith Jr. was going to be coming back to Florida after previously announcing he was going to enter the portal. I think Silk announced it on Twitter, then everybody else was posting articles about it. So it seemed nice that you're going to be returning your projected backup safety, a high upside 4-star guy going to his second season. But then kind of out of nowhere on Thursday, it was reported that he is going to be entering the portal. From what I heard, they gave him like an ultimatum. They told him this was announced Friday morning, I think. They told him by Thursday at like 4 or 5 o'clock, he had to like officially sign his agreement with UF, and he just didn't sign it in time. So they just felt like it was time to move on. Greg Smith is out of the portal. The rumors are Miami going back to Will Harris and that DB unit he has there. It's not the biggest loss in the world. It's not like you're losing a starter here. You're losing a guy that, yes, has high upside. I mean, what is he, like 6'4"? Like, he's a big safety. Didn't see much of him, has good speed, but someone that you could see starting later on in the future. But, you have 2 top 100 recruits at safety coming in. You already have 2 guys you suspect to start or expect to start. You have also Turner, who seems like is with the program. So it's not going to... I would be shocked if us losing Greg Smith is a difference in us winning or losing a game.
Yeah, 100%. From what I had seen here, correct me if I'm wrong, but from the reporting I had seen, it kind of sounded like Greg Smith and Bryce Thornton were sort of the lone holdouts in terms of guys who hadn't agreed to new NIL deals yet. Obviously, they thought they got Greg Smith back in the fold. I mean, I'll be honest with you, like, and this isn't anything personal towards Greg Smith. I'm sure he's talented and could become a very good player, but I was almost glad to see that he was leaving in the sense that those are the kind of like, I think Florida needs more help in the transfer portal. I think someone said it above, like you need defensive tackle help, probably could use another DB help or another help, like more help in the secondary. So, which we're going to get into. So to me, it was almost like these are the kind of losses you've got to take to clear up space to bring in guys who can be more instant impact than Greg Smith would have been this year. Like, it sucks. Again, in a perfect world, would love to have him, could develop into a pretty good player, but talking about a guy who like still probably wouldn't have seen the field a ton this year, barring injury. And I mean, that just gives you an extra spot to work with. It's not a guy that you don't know how to replace. So to me, it was like, when he announced he was going, I was like, okay, fine. And when he said he was coming back, I was like, cool, I guess. I was kind of looking forward to having that roster spot to work with. And then obviously now they do ultimately have that roster spot to work with. So that's kind of where I land on that.
Yeah. And I mean, it seems like we're just going to be making a trade as I have it right here. Zaquan Patterson, he was a top 100 recruit, also a freshman last year for Miami. He played 70 more snaps than Greg Smith did. Got some good playing time at Miami right there. He was a top 100 recruit out of high school. 6 foot, 6'1"-ish, 200 pounds. Top 100 recruit, I already said. I was comparing their PFF grades. Zaquan Patterson was a little bit higher and everything. I mean, you look at it, higher rate out of high school, had more tackles. His PFF grade's a little higher. I mean, really, it seems like you're getting a little bit of an upgrade there when you're going from Zaquan Patterson to Greg Smith Jr. Now, it's not a guarantee Zaquan Patterson does commit to UF. He is expected to visit campus on Wednesday. He was supposed to visit Ole Miss this weekend, but I don't have any word if he actually made that visit or not, which I suspect is a good thing because probably would have heard if he went to Ole Miss.
You would think.
Yeah. Let me check. Ole Miss is like 247. Like, I don't see anything about it, so he probably didn't make the trip, but that's not some guarantee. I'd expect him to probably come to Florida if we want him. He's from Florida. He's from Hollywood, Florida there. So I think it's a good trade that kind of favors our end. Maybe it just favors the two coaches. I mean, Will Harris, from what I heard, he really liked Greg Smith, so he's getting his guy. I mean, we're getting the guy that kind of is a little bit better in everything stat-wise. Now, stats don't tell the whole truth. High school rankings mean nothing when they get to college. But, I mean, things say that Zaquan Patterson is better to this point.
Yeah, played in every game last year, too, I believe. Played in all 13 games. So, a guy who was seeing the field early and often. I mean, how much stock do you want to put in that? With Miami's defensive backs being what they were last year, wasn't a very strong group. So I don't know how much that says about him getting reps as a true freshman there, but I mean, still did it. And so I don't really see how this certainly doesn't seem like a downgrade, and maybe does seem like a bit of a higher ceiling pickup. You can ultimately get him for Florida. I mean, ultimately neither of them really produced a ton last year. So we're all kind of just doing projection and trying to figure out who we think will ultimately be better in the long run. Who knows? But I mean, I think if you do that swap 1-for-1, it's hard to feel like Florida's any worse for the wear after this whole saga.
Yeah, he played in 11 games. He didn't play against us last year, and then he missed some other game. He played in the bowl game. But I mean, he had a 66.4 defensive grade, 63 tackle, 68 coverage, which is like a couple points higher in like every little category compared to Greg Smith. I mean, Rob brought it up a little bit ago. We need a defensive tackle. I messaged Tyler before the show. Jay Hardy, who was a near top winner recruit, originally went to Auburn out of high school. Transferred after year one, redshirted, didn't really play. Went to Liberty for 3 years, was a pretty good defensive tackle for them. There was talks about him getting a visit to Florida, but it was announced, I guess, like an hour or so ago that he has committed to Auburn, unsurprisingly. I mean, I trust Jamari Lyons is going to be healthy. I mean, he's already playing and everything, so Lyons is healthy. But you probably do still want one more tackle, even a tackle in that room when you look at nose tackle and the backup to Caleb Banks. He would have been a really good get. Joshua Horton from Miami, another guy. He's taking a visit to Georgia. There's been talks about him visiting UF as well. I mean, we'll see what happens there. There's a defensive tackle as well from I'm forgetting who it was right now, but a big-time guy, like probably the number one defensive tackle in the country. I know he's taking visits to like Tennessee, Georgia, Texas. I doubt we're really in it for that because we're probably going to have Jamari Lyons. And, I mean, Caleb Banks is starting for 99% of teams in the country, so I doubt we really get into his race.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see Florida go in and get, like, someone that either injects some talent or experience, or, I mean, ideally both, but, into the group, like, I would love to see that. I don't think defensive tackle is in need in the sense that I'm like, outside of Caleb Banks, this is going to be bad, but it's very unproven. It's guys like Lyons. It's guys like Mekhi Boro, guys who have like only seen sort of limited playing time, if they've seen playing time at all, that, coaching staff seems high on. We're decent recruits. We'll just kind of have to see if they're ready. And that's kind of the risk you run, is if they're not ready, it's a big issue. But I mean, it's really the position opposite Caleb Banks. I think we both feel very good about Caleb Banks. I don't think there's any concerns on that front. So, I mean, I would say I think in terms of needing a starter, team defensive tackle might be the biggest need still. But I feel like in terms of which position group needs another body, I think it still might be DBs.
That's where I think
really could use another guy there.
Yeah, I still think the DBs need another body. I mean, Zaquan Patterson seems like he's going to be the guy that fills that role. Haven't really heard anything about any other DBs in the portal. I mean, we know Ole Miss is always a threat in the transfer portal for any recruit you're going after. But if he didn't make that visit, then we probably do get him.
Yep.
All right. Time to get into some sponsor. Get your business, product, service, or personal brand to the next level by partnering with the voice of college football. See what our partner Wind Agency has to say about its sponsorship experience with us. Let's discuss how you also can reach your target market. Contact us at sponsorships@VOCCFB.com today. George. We don't need a defensive tackle necessarily. Put some 5'6", 145-pound guy in there. Nobody will be able to touch him. He will sack the QB. Yeah, I feel like that's how you get someone.
Aiden Warner. Put an Aiden Warner at defensive tackle. Make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, Aiden Warner did just get put on scholarship the other day. Good for him. I mean, it's going to be the third-string QB, second or third-string QB, so it makes sense for him to be on scholarship. Don't really know what's happened with Clay Millen. He just exists.
That's a weird situation. Everything about that makes no sense to me.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, I have zero clue what's happening there. But let's talk some basketball here real quick. Xavier Lee commits to the Gators, 6'4" point guard from Princeton, averaged nearly 17 both years at Princeton, and like 5 and 5 assists and rebounds. Very consistent, really good guard guy that was getting NBA talks. Came down to Florida, Kansas, and St. John's. It's really just Florida and St. John's. I mean, we know what happened the last time a guard decided between Florida and St. John's, ended up being Walter Clayton Jr. I really like to get someone who can create his own shot and also create shots for his other teammates around him. Although the only bad news with this is that Denzel Aberdeen does enter the transfer portal a couple of days later. I mean, I was excited to see Denzel Aberdeen in a starting role. I thought he was someone that could average like 15 or so points per game here. Really good length as well, high defensive upside. So it does suck to see him leave, but we do get Xavier Lee. I think the big question here was, if you have Lee next to Aberdeen, those are two guards who need the ball in their hands. They're like ball-dominant guards right there, because you don't really see Denzel Aberdeen really get that many catch-and-shoot situations, which you probably want to put next to Xavier Lee. But now the question is, who in the portal you grab that you can't put next to Xavier Lee? Because you're probably not starting Klavzar next year, probably not starting Isaiah Brown. A.J. Brown, Isaiah Brown's brother, 13-point-per-game scorer for Ohio, 6'4" as well, is visiting Tuesday. I expect him to be a Gator when he commits, whether it is like right away on Tuesday or sometime in the next week. I would be shocked if he's not a Gator. I don't know if I necessarily want him starting. He's good size. He's a good shooter. Has a really high release point, starting point for his jump shot. It's kind of funky to look at, but it worked well. He's a bigger body, so he's going to be a more physical guard for us than we have on the roster right now. Someone that's really good at finishing above smaller defenders at the rim. I just don't know if he can be that second guard. I'm sure we're going to keep looking in the portal for other guards. I don't think it's going to be PJ Haggerty from Memphis. He's looking to try to get $4 million to try to be a starting point guard. Two things that I don't think he's worth or is. The other name, look at Ben Henschel, Australia. He was a Australian under-20 teammate with Alex Condon. Someone that has a lot of confidence in his own game. He thinks he should be a first-round draft pick. But from what I've heard, he is getting some talks about like second rounds. So he's a high upside guard here. That would probably just be a 1 year, maybe 2 year. Like that would be 2 years. Probably just a 1 year deal. If it works out, then good. He's going to the NBA, maybe a first rounder. If it doesn't, he's probably either still trying to go to the NBA or maybe going back to Australia. But those are really the only two names I'm hearing right now. There's Coward from Washington State. I'm hearing more Alabama and Duke for him. I mean, maybe now that Zell's gone, we push after him more, because I think he would be a really good 3 to put next to Lee. But I think it's going to be a Bama and Duke show. Probably goes to Duke.
Yeah, I mean, looking at kind of everything that's played out for the basketball team in the last week or so, like I think, I mean, the Xavier Lee thing is really exciting. First of all, like I don't want to brush past that. I think he's a really fun player. I don't want to say, obviously, not fair to expect that he's going to be as good as Walt, but I think he's pretty clearly the Walt replacement in terms of creating and running the point and all that. I mean, look, I think from what I can tell, it seems like maybe Lee is going to be a bit of a liability on defense, but when you watch his Princeton tape, like it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. The way he shoots and how just smooth he makes it look, the way he moves, his athleticism, good size at 6'4", I believe. So just the pizza discussion in the comments.
That's what I'm off as well.
Yeah. No, but no, I mean, like I will say Aberdeen, I kind of called that one earlier, like towards the end of the season. I said it wouldn't shock me if Aberdeen were to go pro. Also, I don't really think so, Rob.
No,
I think he's
me
getting
neither.
dude is apparently getting like Houston and Texas Tech involved in his recruit.
I've heard also
I think
Cincinnati.
he's gone. Yeah, I think he's gone, unfortunately. Would be pretty surprised if he came back, especially because we just took a point guard. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious he wants to be a starting point guard next year, which I think he's earned the right to do that somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I kind of projected, like said when we were talking about who could go in the portal, that I thought Aberdeen maybe could. I didn't really think that was going to happen in the days leading up to it, because portal had been open for a minute. Nothing happened in the immediate wake of the national title game, so I kind of assumed we were all good there. I mean, I don't think losing Aberdeen, he obviously showed he can play at a high level in the games he had to start. I don't think it's the end of the world, in the sense that could you portal probably a similarly talented player for probably a similar price to what he was asking for? Like, yeah, I think you probably could. I'd say this probably, makes us, I would say, a lock for AJ Brown, I would think. I was kind of not too bullish on the Gators getting AJ Brown before Aberdeen entered the portal. Kind of seemed like he had other opportunities he was listening to, but I think now that's going to open the door for him to come in and play, maybe take some minutes away from his brother, which is a little awkward. But, I think the Aberdeen thing, only a
freshman.
His brother's got time. His brother's got time. Does AJ Brown have 1 more year or 2 more years of eligibility?
That's a great question. I think it's 2 years.
I think it's 2 as well.
Let me double check.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that sucks about,
he has played 3 seasons. He only played 9 games last year, so I assume he got redshirted, or a medical redshirt.
You maybe medical. I know you can't play at all if it's a true redshirt.
I'm pretty sure he got it. Yeah, he's listed as a sophomore, so I think he got a medical redshirt.
Okay, so
he's have 2 years here.
Okay, so he's going to be like he's going to be a 3rd-year junior, 4th-year junior.
Yeah, 4th-year junior.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that to me, though, that sucks about Aberdeen leaving is not so much like, oh, Florida can't replace this guy. It's more the timing. Like, it happened late in the portal cycle, and now it puts Florida in a point where, like, I think Florida could have, if they got a little creative with the lineup, sort of gotten maybe AJ Brown, maybe not, maybe get one other like depth guard, and then kind of work with what you've got with Aberdeen and Xavier Lee. Now, though, you really have to go get another guard, and I'm not sure that's AJ Brown's that guy, because you got to go get another guard who's like capable of coming in and playing a major role on this team next year, an Elijah Martin kind of addition. And I'm not sure that guy's out there. I mean, we'll see.
I think it's Ben Henschel. Right,
maybe it is. And yeah, I mean, and hopefully, I would say if he doesn't go pro for whatever reason, I would say Florida's probably looking pretty good for him, assuming Kondo comes back, which Kondo did declare for the draft. Ruben Chinyelu also did. Would assume they're both coming back. We'll see.
I mean, I'm expecting all 4 of the bigs to return, with Micah, Hauk, Condon, and Chinyelu. I mean, there's a chance he has not.
I didn't think so.
I think with Lee committing, that really kind of sealed it away that Hauk was staying.
Yeah.
And he hasn't declared yet. I mean, Chinyelu declared, and that's just, I'm glad, because now he's probably going to work a little bit harder to fix the things that he isn't good at right now. But going back on Ben Henschel, I'm pulling up his NBL Australia stats. Not the greatest shooter. Now, there's more spacing over here in the college game that really ups those shooting numbers. Compared to overseas. He's like a 32% shooter, which isn't terrible. Still a really young guy. So I think you can bring him over here, and you have a point guard like Xavier Lee who could feed him the ball. He's 6'5", I believe. Hold up, let me pull it up. Do they not have his height on here? Oh, wow.
So are you talking about Henschel?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up his stats. He's listed as a forward, so he'd probably play the wing here at 3. 6'5", 198.
It's like Will Richard kind of
average.
Probably.
Yeah, he averaged 9.5, 3.5, 2.5. A little bit of everything guy. Looks pretty physical for his 6'5" stature, which 6'5" is what Will Richard was. So, play that Will Richard role, maybe a little bit higher of an upside with his athleticism, I'd assume. And the fact that you're not going to have you're probably not going to have like 2 other All-American guards next to him. But I think he'd be a solid get. Yeah, one could dream. I think he would be a solid get. Seems like he can play as a team, not just go out there and play solo ball. Not UConn, but just plays by himself. What is George doing? Trying to spell Chinelu in the comments.
Yeah, unsuccessful, but he's getting closer.
He gets the participation trophy right there. But yeah, I'm not too worried yet. We'll see what happens. And I feel like right now he's going to have trust in Todd Golden.
Yeah. I mean, Golden's portal evaluations, Golden's team building has earned the benefit of the doubt to this point. Like, I don't worry about his strategy. I more just worry about, look, Florida won the national championship. And part of the downside that comes with that is they were playing basketball for 2 weeks after the portal opened. Like, you're just a little behind. And, that just is what it is. He's going to have to manage that. But I think, I think he's going to get it right. What's that?
I do have one more name. I got to pull it up real quick. A freshman. Where is he at? It's a shooting guard. Darius Adams. He just got released from his letter of intent from UConn. He's a 6'4" shooting guard, 5-star out of Manasquan, New Jersey, but I'm pretty sure he plays high school in Indiana. So I don't know. I mean, we offered him out of high school. I don't know how much we push for him. I mean, we need a shooting guard right now, and he could be. I mean, he's a 5-star guy. UConn obviously wanted him. So I don't know how much we pressure. I mean, we offered him. Not much I can really say about him, but I thought I mentioned him because we did offer him out of high school and was a 5-star. So if you're getting a 5-star to come in and replace him, replace a player, it's not going to be the biggest question in the world.
Yeah, I mean, that would. And so he's coming in. He's like a true freshman signee, correct?
Yes, he's got released from his letter of intent.
Okay, so he
comes
in as a first year 5-star guy.
He would be part of the class with Lloyd and Ingram.
Got it. Okay. I mean, that would be. I mean, first of all, that would be. What would that even? Would that be a top 10 class for all intents and purposes?
So depending on the site you use, our class on On3 is ranked 7th, and they have a more like average base like.
Okay.
I think this is better for basketball because sometimes you only need one player, sometimes you need 5. And like on 247, which is player dependence, I mean they don't care who's on your roster or whatever. We're like 21st or something.
Gotcha. So I mean, you'll definitely probably would be sitting at a like consensus top 10. Yeah, no, yeah. I'll give him a call. We're on a first name basis. I'll give him a call.
Yeah, I'll give Walt a call right there to tell him. Give Walter a call. Yeah, but I mean, I think that's everything I know for basketball. I mean, our bigs should be fine. Lee should come here and be that starting point guard. Who knows how good he will be? There is like questions about like his efficiency. But again, he's playing at Princeton. Didn't really have the best teammates around him. Which hey, we need to surround him right now. I mean, our bigs should be really good, but we probably need to get a couple guards still, whether that's out the portal or Adams out of the a recruit. So I'm excited to see where it goes. I trust Golden. I'm going to let him do his thing. And that's all I got to say about it.
One more real quick thing about basketball. I'm just curious if you saw this. I didn't look a ton into it, but did you see something about Chinelu being like, he didn't have something about him not having a deal with the collective. So he was like making less money than like you would probably expect for a starter on, did you see anything about that? It might have been fake news. It might have been something I misread, but that just, when I saw that made me wonder if, if Florida might, if you don't pay him, maybe he's a portal guy if he comes back. I don't know. That was just a thought I had. I wasn't sure if you had seen anything or had any insight on that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not seeing anything off the tip of I'm at the top here, but
gotcha.
I'm going to assume no. But I mean, I didn't expect Aberdeen to enter the portal. Oh yeah, Sam Alexis entered like 5 minutes. Entered for like Sam 5 Alexis. Minutes before Denzel Aberdeen entered. So just thought I'd bring that up as well.
I think Sam Alexis will have. I think he'll be a good player somewhere. I think he's talented enough that he'll figure it out and play somewhere.
He's younger than Thomas Houck is.
Yeah, it just wasn't going to be here, but he's a talented guy. Like you could see, I mean, even though we clown on Alexis a lot, but there were moments where you could see like, man, this guy really could be a pretty good player.
Yeah, he's 6'9", has a 7'2" wingspan, pretty athletic. I mean, if he can just get some touch around the rim, maybe I guess his defensive IQ, his defensive awareness is a little bit up. I could see him being a good Power 5 starter.
I feel like Sam Alexis is a guy that in like 2 years you'll be watching a random round of 32 tournament game and you'll hear the announcers be like, and that's 15 points for Sam Alexis. And you'll be like, what? I kind of see him being one of those guys.
Well, he only has 1 year of eligibility left, so.
Wait, really?
Yep.
Oh, I thought he was like a sophomore this year, honestly.
I'm pretty sure he was a junior.
Wait, he's younger than Hauk? Because Hauk is a true sophomore, right? Or no, Hauk's a junior. Hauk's a sophomore.
No, Hauk's a sophomore.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just grading goes. Yeah, no, this was his true junior season.
Wow.
Because he played 32 in year 1 and 33 year 2 for Chattanooga, and then 24. I mean, maybe they give him an injury red shirt, but like 24 games is too many to give an
Yeah, I don't think you're getting. I mean, eligibility is not real, so I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know what they're going to do, but I would not think you could get a medical hardship for playing in 24 games. Especially when he wasn't playing in the tournament, not for medical reasons.
Yeah.
I don't believe.
Again, with Alexis, I think the bigger thing there is like his defensive IQ, because he has the stature, 6'8", 7'2" wingspan. He has that Jawan Roberts look right there, bit more athletic. So, like, I mean, sometimes you just get stuck with, like, Ruben Chinilu, Mike Henning-Lawton, Alex Condon, and Thomas Hauk, and sometimes you just kind of get, left in the dust. All right, I think that's it for basketball right there. I like to tell everyone our channel does have memberships. You can sign up for memberships on our YouTube channel here. We will be doing videos breaking down recruits, breaking down their tape, I should say, their film, talking about what they can add to this team. Maybe you'll find some recruits that we really like. There'll be some 3-star wide receiver, a 3-star defensive tackle that we're higher on than everyone else. And then, hey, he breaks out, and we're 2 years from now talking about how, hey, we saw this guy before you guys did, and now he's a starter for the Gators. But we will be doing film like that. You can do that here on the YouTube channel. Don't need to, but we would appreciate it if you do. And I also like to point out, the baseball team, no one's going to say basketball team, but the baseball team now on a 7-game win streak. They're undefeated since Florida basketball has won the championship. Last night's game, I had a friend text me after the game Friday. He's like, man, maybe they are back because they had dominated Mississippi State. And then last night at like 10 o'clock, he messaged me that we're down, 7-3 or something going into like the 7th inning. And it's like, okay, maybe they aren't back.
6-3. Yeah.
6-3 in the 7th inning. And he's like, okay, yeah, maybe we aren't back. And then an hour later, he texts me, okay, we are back. And we're up 9-3 or 9-6 now, going into like the 9th inning. And we end up winning that game like 11-8. Currently, they are tied 2-2 with Mississippi State. I mean, it's nice to see the resurgence of the baseball team. Now, they really only have one good win. Now, Mississippi State on the road is not a bad win at all. It's a pretty good win. The sweep against Missouri is kind of, you're supposed to win those games.
Yeah,
like
Missouri is 0-18. Missouri is 0-18 in SEC play right now. They've gotten swept 6 times. Yeah.
I removed
That's
the
smart,
sacrifice
Rob. I did that for about a month. I got back in this weekend. I've watched Friday and Saturday, but I took about a month off from baseball. Couldn't bring myself to do it.
But now, if you're any team, especially if you're like one of those lower major teams that are like in contention for a top 16 seed for the host of regional, you're just praying Florida isn't in your region.
Yeah.
I mean, look at last year. We were in Texas Tech's region, right?
No, we were in Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State, that's right. And did we play Texas Tech? Maybe that was the year before.
Yeah, we had Texas Tech in our regional.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That's right. Because I think we lost game 1 or game 2 to them, and we had to fight back as like the number 3 overall team.
They were in the 2-0 position, and we had to come back and beat them. Yeah.
But I mean, next week I think is our first like challenge. Let me see who it is. I mean, we need to win this game here still. It's still tied in the third inning. We won the series, and that's really what matters here. If you can just win your series from here on out, then you're looking really good. I mean, Arkansas. How good is Arkansas? They're not ranked. I mean,
they're
probably
good. They're like top 10,
okay.
I think. Yeah.
They don't have a ranking.
I'm almost positive they're ranked that high.
I
will say Florida also has a midweek series win over Florida State, which could end up being they're number 2 in the country, dude.
Why do they not have a ranking then on this? Because Ole Miss and Florida State have their rankings, but not Arkansas. I was like, I thought they were good, but I mean, it's a home series. If you can take that series against Arkansas, I mean, I wouldn't say we're a lock, but like it would be very surprising if we end up missing the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, and again, that midweek series win over Florida State probably should have swept them. Kind of blew it in the game they lost. Like that could end up being what? Yeah, got walked off, blew a lead if I remember correctly. And then, but I mean, yeah, I mean, I think that'll help you with the selection committee. I mean, they're not really getting a ton of love right now. I think part of that's because they're only 12 games over 500. Obviously, gotta be above 500 just to make the tournament. That's the dilemma they found themselves in last year, needing to take that game in the last series. So hopefully they're not in that spot again. I mean, sweeping Missouri kind of next to meaningless. So we'll see.
I think the problem here is last year our schedule was really tough, but we were still taking a game. Like we weren't getting swept, and I mean, besides Missouri, but like everywhere else, we were taking a game.
Yes, that is true. But the difference is we're actually higher in the RPI this year and stuff because like our metrics are better. We're actually metrics wise, we're like a borderline hosting a regional team.
That's not really surprising.
Part of that's because we're not losing midweek games left and right. Last year we lost so many bad midweek games.
George, great comment here.
Maybe if this doesn't work out, that's not a bad idea.
Tyler and Tyler.
I can't say that.
Oh my, I can't say that. No.
Tyler and Tyler's. Yeah.
Oh my God. That's cursed right there. But yeah, I mean, I'm expecting us to make the tournament at this point, and you just know any team hosting a region, like a regional, they do not want to see Florida. Like what happened last year. I mean, Sully might be the best. It will probably be the best coach in any region he's in. So, I mean, our pitching's been playing better, batting starting to get hot. If we can take, I mean, I need to see us out. I mean, we're home against Arkansas. We need to at least take a game. Can't get swept. But if we win that series, I'm like, we're probably a lock to make the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I think Florida's in a pretty good spot. I mean, you just can't get you can't get swept in any of these series down the stretch. Like you can afford to drop some of them. You really need to take a game if you do though. I do agree with Rob here. I mean, injuries are a huge part of kind of the struggle to this point. I mean, I do think like there are some other, like, I think there are some kind of recurring issues that this team has sort of had the last 2 seasons that you can't blame on injuries. I will say though, I think, the bullpen is suspect. We've had the pitching injuries. I think this lineup, it doesn't have like a Cags or a Wyatt Langford level star, but top to bottom, it's just really solid. Like there's guys 1 through 9 who can hit pretty well. So I think, I mean, that's part of the reason these last 2 games, Florida was down on Thursday or on Friday, they were down 3-1 and 13-3 and via mercy rule. And then last night they were down 6-3 and 11-8. So they have the firepower on offense. They can go after, if they can get to a team's bullpen, they can take it to them. So that's kind of the thing that makes them interesting.
Yeah. And the injuries, I mean, Pierce Capella, so I heard he was going to be announced as out for the season, like after he got hurt, but they haven't announced it. And now he hasn't played, so I don't know what's happening there. We will see if he's out for the season, or maybe he'll just make a surprise return. He'll just come out of nowhere, and people will be like, oh, sweet.
Yeah.
And then you lose Cade Kurland. I think a big problem here is Ty Evans. He's just not the same after that injury he took last year, which really sucks because if we were going to have a big star, it was like, okay, maybe Brody Donay, but like he's been very inconsistent. But if you're going to have that big star, it was like, oh, Ty Evans with what he was doing last year. You were hoping it would be him, but now he's not even starting, right?
No. And also you lost Kyle Jones, outfielder, is out for the
Yep,
year.
that's
Stetson
right.
transfer had a pretty nice start to the year. So you're really banged up in the outfield, especially right now. So I mean, yeah, there's 100%. There's injuries all over the place on this team. But you know, they're getting better in spite of them. So nice to see the sort of progress, because I mean, I think, like you said, you know, no matter how bad the team was during the regular season, if you can get into a regional, I don't think either of us are going to doubt Kevin O'Sullivan's ability to manage his way out of a regional. So
no. Before we get into the final segment, shout out the Orlando Magic, currently playing Boston 21-18. Right, 2018. Yeah, 21-18 as I look at the score. I don't know if you're a Magic fan or anything, but hey, go Magic.
I'm actually like very casual Celtics fan. Extremely casual Celtics fan. I can't stress enough.
Okay. Florida baseball is evil when it gets near tournament time.
No arguing with that, George. That is 100% true.
All right, we'll get into our final segment here. Where did I go? There it is. Florida safety recruiting is something worth talking about because I'm expecting a really big and really good class. I mean, I don't know how many people we will take, but there are going to be some pretty good players there. The main headline here, we talked about him last week, I believe. Braylon Womack, 5-star safety out of Mississippi. He announced his commitment date for August 27th.
Hold on, I have it right here. Sorry. It is August 23rd.
August 23rd, just before his senior season starts. I don't think it's because he knows his decision. It's just something he wants to commit before his senior season. Mm-hmm. That's like my assumption there. The main competition I'm hearing is Ohio State. I think Texas A&M and Auburn are the other two schools in it, right?
They also have, all four of the schools. All four of those schools you named are the only ones that have officials set with him.
Okay. So we will get our official. So yeah, we're going to get our official visit. We're going to have the next 4 months to recruit him and try to do everything we can to get him to come here. We know Vinny Suntory is the real reason we're in this recruitment. I mean, we'll see how much we pay him, how much he's looking for, and if we can hold up with like Ohio State, who most perceive as the leader right now, but he is someone that's from the South in Mississippi. So, I mean, we've seen it with kids that really like Ohio State, but then they take that visit. Jaheim Singletary is one that comes to mind. He committed to Ohio State at like an All-American game, and he was committed there for like a year. And then come signing day, he's like, okay, I'm taking a visit to Ohio State. And he just didn't like it up there in Ohio, and then like flipped to Georgia. So maybe when he takes that visit to Ohio State, he's not going to like it as much as maybe he likes the money they're offering, which could be a big factor in him staying south and hopefully coming to the Gators.
Yeah, I mean, this would be such a big get to not only get a player of this caliber, but to beat out Ohio State for a DB like this. I mean, that would be a huge deal. I don't love Florida having the first official here. His officials are all 4 weeks in a row. Florida has the first, Ohio State has the last. I don't love that, but it is what it is.
I think official visits kind of mean less now here in the NIL day.
That is definitely.
It's really, it could be last phone call. It could just be whoever offered the most from the start. Like sometimes some kids will call and say, hey, they offered me this. Some won't say it, and they'll just be like, okay, give me your offer and see what happens there. It may also not even be a money thing. It may just be a relationship thing, which is why we just jumped straight into the top there with Vinny Suntory. But for a 5-star safety guy, number 12 in the On3 industry ranking, 32 on On3, 12 on 247, 32 on ESPN, and 54 on Rivals. Highly rated safety. Would be the highest rated safety that we have got since, like, I mean, Stubbs was 54.
No one. I mean, it'd be no one that would. Kamari was borderline, but he wasn't that.
Oh, high. Yeah, Kamari. That's right.
But I don't think Kamari was even that high, was he?
He finished like in the 40s or 30s, high 30s.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about Braylon Womack's 21 in the composite, number 1 safety in America. He wasn't that. Yeah, Kamari wasn't that high. I mean, I don't even know. You'd probably have to go back to someone. You'd have to go back to like some Muschamp recruit that I can't remember off the top of my head being an elite. Like, I mean, it's been a long time.
I mean, yeah, if I go to 2017, maybe nope. They considered Trayvon Grimes. Okay. I mean, like no one from 2016, I don't think. What was CJ? Not CJ. Chauncey Gardner, what was his rating? He was pretty high, wasn't he?
He was a 4-star.
Chauncey was.
He was like good, but not a 5-star.
Oh, Chauncey was 42nd, but yeah, so like not a 5-star. Who? Antonius Clayton. I have zero recollection of him. He was a 27th ranked player.
I do remember him. There was a lot of hype when we got that guy. He was like an edge rusher, and he did not really play. He ended up transferring to Georgia Tech or something like that. I don't remember.
So it was, it had to be a Muschamp recruit, like 2014. Anyone? No. Maybe like wasn't Keanu Neal close to a 5-star?
Yeah, it might. I mean, like it might, but I'm not even sure he was that high of a recruit. Like we literally might be talking Urban or something. Like we might be talking like the best since Urban.
Like you got Hargraves, Marcel Harris. Let's see what his composite was. I mean, someone who didn't even really do anything here. Marcel Harris was, 79. So no.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus,
Marcel
we
Harris
could
was
be here
actually
all
really
day.
good when healthy.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah, he was fun. He just had really bad injury issues.
Brian Poole, maybe? I mean, he was 56. So again,
I was gonna say Brian Poole was a 5-star. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not. This is like untrodden territory. Yeah.
I thought our offense. Because we're still getting nearly top. We're getting top 100 safeties like nearly every class.
Yeah.
Not 2011. I don't know.
And if you go back to 2010, you're talking Urban.
Yep.
Wait, what happened in baseball?
Matt Elam.
Rob says baseball game is over. LOL. I don't know if that's good or bad.
Let me pull it up here.
That one could go either way.
It's on commercial break. Matt Elam was 16. So Matt Elam.
Okay, Matt Elam. So literally Matt Elam.
We had his nephew come here and be a top 50 recruit.
His nephew has been gone for 4 years now. 3 years now, whatever.
We're down. It was just tied 2-2.
Oh, fantastic. Love to see that.
How is that possible? Hey, we made the comeback last night.
Yeah.
You know what? We just need to say it's over. No, it's only. Oh, yeah, okay. I guess now it said 4-2, then updated 7-2.
Well,
oh man, that's not good.
Not ideal.
Maybe the season is over.
Yeah, season might be over. The Toddster piece magic has worn off. All
right, but let's get back here to Florida safety recruiting. We kind of got down a rabbit hole right there. Yeah, but look at Braylon Womack. We just said it. He'll be the highest ranked safety that we have gotten since 2010. Matt Elam. That is just wild.
Yeah, it's just truly stunning that Florida is not. Really, since like the Muschamp era, Florida has really had a hard time finding those elite level recruits. They get top 100 guys, no problem, but getting the top 20, top 30 guys, that's really been few and far between.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go down to the other safety recruits we're looking at. We'll start with the biggest name here, Aiden Pouncey. He's the brother of Jordan and Ethan Pouncey, obviously, who are the nephews of the Marquise and Mike Pouncey, all-time great Gators here on the offensive line, NFL, who were like all-stars in the NFL. He's from Winter Park, just like his brother, where he's a number 140 safety on the on-3 industry, 129 on 3, 134 on 247, 162 ESPN, and 244 on Rivals. From what I hear, we take him. He's a Gator. He's high enough rating to where I suspect that he should be a take. He'd be a really good safety in this class, top 150 guy. He's not that 5-star we are talking about, but these are the guys that you can add up to be the depth, and maybe one of them will end up being like an all-star level safety.
Yeah, it'd be hard to imagine Pouncey's not a take, right? Like a top 150 legacy, quadruple legacy guy. Like it'd be kind of hard to believe he's not a take. Also got official visit scheduled at Miami, Syracuse, and LSU. So some decent
and one for Florida
there. I don't see one for Florida. 247 doesn't have one listed for Florida. If it's possible that he has one that they haven't added yet. I mean, yeah, I would say the only hang up here is it kind of seems like Florida's not been super aggressive about going after Aiden Pouncey.
He took a visit here 8 days ago. Unofficial, obviously.
Unofficially. Okay.
So yeah, maybe we're just now still super aggressive after him.
You do kind of wonder if it's a test the waters, see what happens with Braylon Womack, and then if that doesn't work out, go. You kind of got checklist going down of guys you want to get after.
Because the next two guys we're gonna talk about, we've had like serious discussions about, and Pouncey's kind of just been there, even though he is ranked higher on the on-3 industry rankings than Pouncey is.
Yeah.
I guess we'll go to the next name here. Caden Hall, he did just set an official visit, which I believe is for the first or 5/30/2025. So May 30th, which is the first day, I believe, of official visits from the dead period. 157 on-3 industry ranking. On-3 has him at 70. 247 has him unranked as a 3-star. The other two have him in their 100s. Someone that I know a lot of people really like. He's from Milton, Florida. 6'2.5", 200 pounds. Prototypical safety right there. I know a lot of people like him. We're really going after him. It's going to be a battle with like Bama, FSU, and Penn State. Because, yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, they probably have him higher on the board than they do Pouncey. And that's probably why Pouncey is being discussed less and less. But someone who I think we have a really good chance to land and going against really good schools for him.
Yeah, Oklahoma also has an official scheduled here with Caden Hall.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Again, according to the 247 sports thing that I'm looking at, that's a weird case with him of a guy like who's such a big gap between like how 247's own rankings and their composite. Like he's 144 on their composite, number 12 safety, unranked, and number 38 safety on their own ranking. So yeah, that's a weird sort of disconnect there. But I mean, seems to be a guy that Florida really wants. I'd agree. Seems to be a guy that Florida's been a little bit more aggressive in going after than Aiden Pouncey. I mean, I think, look, if you were to get Braylon Womack and Caden Hall, I think we would be talking about that as an absolutely excellent safety class. And coming off another, what I think we would probably call an excellent safety class.
What would you consider a better class? If we say, let's say we got Womack and, we'll say Caden Hall versus,
just those
would you
two
say that's better?
I would probably say a little bit, just because I think Braylon Womack is just a level of player that Florida hasn't been able to get in the secondary in a really long time. But I mean, it is tough because I think like pound for pound, the 2025 cycle might be better just because all those guys are really impressive prospects who could probably see early playing time.
That's where I also wonder, how many do we take? Could we take 3 safeties in this class? I mean, Castell and Thornton. Castell has 2 years. Thornton still has 3 years left. So, I mean, I feel like this is a make or break year for Castell. If he's not good, like if he's good, he's NFL good. But if he's not, then we probably move on from him. And Thornton could probably still be a solid safety here who is getting starting or in that main rotation with the other safeties for the next 2-3 years here. So you're probably losing one of the two, not both. And then you have your 2 freshmen you expect to keep. Asta Turner is with us right now. So you're probably, and he will be gone if he's not gone going into the year. And you're probably bringing Saquon Patterson in, who has 3 more years as a top 100 guy. So how many safeties do you want in the room? Like 6?
Maybe. I mean, we're talking about it being a need right now.
So that's looking at probably having 4 going into next year. And maybe there's the portal. I mean, maybe you have one of them leave. I mean, I don't think it's going to be either the 2 freshmen. And then you're looking at the 2 Thornton and Patterson, theoretically.
You probably, whichever one of those 2 is on the outside looking in, you'd probably expect to leave after next year, yeah. Or after 2025, I mean.
Yeah. So you're probably looking at 2 safeties this class. I mean, if you get Womack, we'll talk about CJ Hester real quick. We kind of skipped over him. He's number 240 on the on-3 industry. I know his 247 grading is a bit higher on the 247 composite, right?
So let me pull him back up real quick. Why can't I find? Is he listed as a corner?
He's a corner because there's another player who just committed to Ole Miss as a running back.
Okay, so they have him as a corner on like the main thing, but when you go to his actual profile, let's see.
I'm sorry. I was told we are recruiting that corner.
Okay, we are recruiting him a corner. Okay, he is listed as a safety.
Yeah,
he's listed as a corner though when you look at it in terms of who Florida's offered, which is weird. But maybe that's because we've offered him as a corner. I don't know. But yeah, he's 231 on the composite and then 36 on 36 overall safety unranked. So he's kind of in the same boat as Caden Hall in terms of being way underrated in 247's own rankings compared to their industry rankings.
George, he has not committed yet. The kid from Miami, Zaquan Patterson. Mm-hmm. He still has an official visit to take. He may have taken one to Ole Miss. Ole Miss is a legit competition, but I would expect us to land him.
Unless he's not talking about a high school player, is he?
Oh wait, I'm not worried about the safety position. We got that kid from. I'm probably talking about Stubbs.
Isn't Stubbs from Jacksonville?
Yeah. He was committed to Miami.
Oh, okay.
We stole him from Miami.
Oh, I get it. Okay.
I'm assuming, because I don't think we stole Patterson. It just so happened that Patterson entered the portal as Greg Smith entered the portal. So, that's my fault. But, I kind of forgot we're recruiting. I was told we're recruiting CJ Hester at corner. He's listed as safety. So, we got a crystal ball for Hester. That's why I bring him up, really. I expect to land him. But, going back to the safeties. If you get Womack, you get Hall, and Pouncey, I think you got to take all three, right? I mean, you're going to lose someone else. I mean,
I'd say probably. I think you over recruit in the transfer portal era because you just don't know what's going to become a need. Like what looks like a strength can become a need so fast that I don't know if you can be like, well, these three safeties are all top 150 prospects and we really like them, but I don't know if we have if you can make the room scholarship wise, I feel like you probably have to do
it. With a name like CJ Hester, is going to score a defensive touchdown. I like that shot right there. But I mean, because I think they're really going to press after Womack and Howell as the two safeties, and then if Pouncey decides hey, I just want to go to Florida, it's the family tradition, You take him. You can't say no to a guy who's in the top 150. I mean, we'll see what his class ranking finish as. I mean, players this ranking can finish as low as a 3-star. So we'll see what happens there because we're obviously not pressuring him as much as we are the other two. But if you can take all three, you definitely have to.
Yeah, 100%. Again, we're already talking about now how we're like, oh man, wish we had a little bit more depth in the secondary. Like this is how you get depth in the secondary, by recruiting and developing those guys.
And because we brought up Hester, I will bring up the corners a bit. I expect CJ Hester to be in this class at this point. I know a lot of people that actually really like him as a prospect, think he could be a little higher. We talked about the discrepancy in his rankings, with 247 having him a lot rated a lot lower compared to the other sites do. So I think he's someone that could finish that top 150 area. Two other corners, CJ Brona. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. He's committed to Nebraska. He's from Florida. He has an official visit set with Florida, Penn State, Florida State, and Nebraska. He's 107 on the composite, 72 on 247. He's from Winter Garden, which has been a good hotspot for Florida in recruiting. Not the same high school as Pouncey, I should say, because they're both from Winter Park. But no, Pouncey's from Winter or something else, right? Or Winter Garden, sorry.
Yeah, Bronow's from Winter Garden. Pouncey's from Winter Park.
Pouncey's from Winter Park. So many winters. I know there's another winter here in Florida
really
too.
Are.
So
Central Florida has so many winters, which is ironic. Yeah,
right. I would be shocked if CJ Brona sticks with Ohio State. Now the question is, does he go to Florida, Florida State, or Penn State? I like our chances. We have the first official visit. I think the first official visit can be good because if you could get him to flip right there and lock it down, then you're looking really good there. But I'd be shocked if he stays with Nebraska. And I like our chances for any high-rated recruit over Florida State at this point. And, he committed to Nebraska, so he's obviously not scared of leaving Florida if it were to go to Penn State, which is another high-level program. But I'm going to say I think we have a really good chance right now. What do you have to say on Bruno? I got to pull up one.
Yeah, I mean, I think if he were to leave Nebraska, like, I mean, I think if this recruitment battle plays out into the fall, like if he's still talking to teams in the fall, I think Florida has a good chance considering I mean, Nebraska is a team who is going into a really important year. They kind of need to take a leap for this proof of concept to bear out. So if you're looking at a situation where Nebraska's sitting around 6-6, 7-5 again, and Florida does take that leap, I think you'd probably expect to see a guy that's as talented as Bronow is, a Florida guy, maybe jump ship from that class. And I mean, hard to imagine Florida wouldn't be the best poised team at that point. I mean, I think Penn State's going to have a fantastic year, but it's Penn State, and he's a Florida guy. And I mean, FSU, we'll just see. But again, yeah, I agree with you. I wouldn't really feel intimidated in any recruiting battle that's Florida State head to head right about now.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like our odds for Brona to be in our class if we have a good year. Because I mean, if we go 6-6 from 7-5, maybe even, the class probably isn't going to be as good as if we go 8-4 plus at the minimum.
Yeah, well, if we go 6-6, we might be doing a coach search, and the class might implode entirely. So who knows?
Hey, we're gonna go from talking about Braylon Womack and Caden Hall to. I mean, should I call? I'm not going to call out any lower rate 3 stars. That'd probably be weird to do. No, but I like our chances with both Hester and Brona. And I don't know how many corners we are going to take, but it's kind of like a similar situation with the safeties where you have the 2 corners we're going after heavily or maybe even projected to get. And you look at a higher rated corner in I just had his name, Chauncey Keenan from Sarasota, Florida. I'm not expecting us to get him at this point. I think we have an official visit set with him. Or he has a visit set. Chauncey Keenan out of Booker is a 28th on the. He's 68 in the composite. Maybe we don't have a visit.
We don't have an official. We don't have an official with him.
I know we were higher on it. Maybe he's another Will Harris guy and Deron Wilson.
It still lists his primary recruiter as Will Harris from Florida. His primary Florida recruiter is Will Harris. So yeah.
I mean, Miami doesn't even have one right now. No, but they're going to visit. So I assume it was probably a Will Harris guy. I mean, maybe Deron Wilson would go after him, but if we're going after those 2 other corners, I don't know. We just took 3 in this past class. And who do we lose after this year? I mean, Devin Moore maybe to the draft. Devin Moore could return. We could return every corner on the roster, right?
Theoretically, yeah.
So you probably only take 2 here to build up that depth more and more and for the future a bit. But yeah, so you probably don't take 3 corners. And Hester seems like a guy that could commit soon, maybe in that official visit period. And then Bronow is probably the guy that you're looking to be the major flip later on down the road.
Yeah.
So I'll finish that there. Okay. There we go. Yeah, now we'll talk about your comments here, George. He brought up something. Can we start a business selling shrines to DJ Lagway, LJ McCray, and Billy Napier? They're gonna have to be in America, though. I don't want to deal with the tariffs. He's only asking for a 5%, more than 5%, or a $1 royalty. He's only asking for this not because it was an idea and make money. He's only asking for this so he can get a new car. I mean, the shrine should be a poster or a few candles, maybe a bobblehead.
Do we? I feel like we make candles. I feel like we make candles in America, right? We gotta have people that make candles in America. You telling me Yankee Candle doesn't make their candles in America? Is that what you're about to tell me?
I'm gonna figure this out right now. Massachusetts.
Yeah, there we go. We found it. The top American industry. Candle making.
Rob was making his grocery list while listening to us, which, hey, this is the perfect time to mention. You can listen to our podcast on Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon, right? Yeah, Amazon Music. You can listen to our podcast on any of those sites. Maybe you're making a grocery list and you can't watch the show live, or you just want to listen to it on one of those apps. You can do it there. It's perfect and everything. It's just the Florida voice of college football. Yeah, Rob, why not mention Dallas Wilson or like Jaden Ball or Jacoby Jackson as someone that we could make strides for?
Yeah, I mean, well,
the wax is from China. You're about to say?
I was just say. I mean, we just talked pretty heavily about Dallas Wilson and the running backs last week when we recapped the spring game. That was a pretty big emphasis.
They were. I mean, they had to be with how they performed in the game. And we can still make the candles. And Rob brought up a question earlier I wanted to answer. How many 5 stars do you think we end up in this class? So if I'm going to look at the top 32 players right now, because I mean, there will probably be like 15 different 5 stars, or like 10 to 15 probably new 5 stars come the end of the cycle. If I'm looking at them right now, players that we are in it for. Felix Ojo, number 7, offensive tackle from Texas, someone that we're battling Ohio State for. I'm going to say we're not going to get him. I'm not going to say we're going to get a 5-star offensive tackle until he signs.
Yeah.
That's a believe it when I see it moment right there. Other 5 stars we're really talking to as of this second. Sedarian Morgan from Alabama. I mean, seems like a big Auburn, Alabama job, but we've seen us go into Alabama and get some pretty shocking recruitments. He does have his commitment set for July 2nd. He'll be visiting us on June 6th. So that's something we'll probably figure out here in the next month or so if we're going to be able to land him or not, or be in it for him. Braylon Womack, I'd say it's like 40% chance we get him. Like Ohio State probably like 50, and then maybe like A&M and who's the other Ole Miss or Auburn are the other Auburn, 2 schools that could get him. So I'm not going to say we do. The other name, Caden Prothero, we talked about him a little bit last week. How if I'd say of all the 5 stars, he's probably the one I feel the most confident in us getting. But that's not even probably above 50%.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm being honest, I probably set the over-under at 5 stars at 0.5.
I mean, Jake Cool, he's currently listed at 29. Not a 5-star on the composite, but, top 32 is usually what I'll say. He's 29th. I'd say we have a really good chance at landing him, assuming we go for a full push. Does he have any visits set? I don't think he has any official visits set. I know Florida was the hometown team for him out of IMG. He's from Florida, though. So if we include him, I'd say of the 4 or 5 names I mentioned, you'd expect us to get 1, assuming we have a good season.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'd expect to get 1 of them.
So, like, as of this second, I'll say 1. Plus, there's, like, the possibilities of some of our other targets, like, jumping up. Like, Isaiah Williams is 51 in the composite. It wouldn't be the craziest thing for him to jump into that top 32, especially considering one of the sites has him at 159. Like, you get a bump from there, and he's, like, all of a sudden in the 30s. And then, like, who are some other, like, I mean, maybe there's a chance we can flip Burrows from Clemson. He's another guy in that 60s. Like, there's still a lot of time for players to finish out with their rankings that could change. I mean, Ojo and Womack could finish as 4 stars. But I'll say 1 as of today. But I wouldn't be shocked if it's 2. We've landed 2 the past 2 cycles with Lagway and McCray. Or I guess Wilson wasn't a 5-star, so we didn't.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Rob, how are defenses going to play us? If you load the box, we have a mobile QB who is accurate, throwing deep, and guys on the outside who will make you play, who will make you pay going 1-on-1. I think early on when we play Miami and LSU, they're probably going to try to get pressure. I mean, we saw what happened last year when LSU tried to rattle Lagway. It didn't really work for him. I think you're gonna early on have teams play like 3 safeties deep, and try to stop the short pass and focus on the run and make Lagway check it down and see if he can beat them that way.
Yeah.
But then if that starts working, I mean, it should be a pretty good offense, especially if Lagway can throw shorts. I mean, maybe they won't have to beat us. Maybe Billy Napier will make some bad play calls, and that will ruin everything.
Well, that's kind of my point. That's kind of the point I was going to make, because I feel like you're going to see loaded boxes to try to stop the run, and you're just going to kind of see defenses make Billy Napier prove that he can have an explosive and effective passing offense. I think that's really what it's going to come down to.
I mean, yeah, Rob, here, 3 deep, our running game will destroy you. There's ways to stop it. I mean, the safeties have to worry about the play action, but I don't know. I mean, I really like the talent. It's just like, I feel like Napier will have to have really bad play calls for this to not be a good offense.
Yeah.
I mean, and you look at the defenses we face, LSU. Who does LSU return? I mean, Harold Perkins. Because, like, those game makers are how you can stop a really good offense. Harold Perkins, when at his peak, was someone that can really turn a game over on himself. Do we expect that from him next year? They misused him the previous year.
They're gonna misuse him again. From everything I've seen, they're gonna misuse him again. they just can't figure out how to make it work.
If we're projecting them to misuse him, then you can project Billy to misuse our offense, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's where you're gonna find out. I mean, I think I think Billy has all the pieces he needs, from the offensive line to the running game to the receivers to the quarterback. I think he's got what he needs. So we'll see.
Have confidence in Billy, Jebediah, and Mordecai. Who is Mordecai?
Well, are those the biblical name? Is that a biblical thing? The Jebediah and Mordecai?
Jebediah?
Jebediah? I don't even know. I guess I might not be read. Oh, they're just Amish names. There's a comment. I thought you were saying Billy Jebediah. I was like, who is Billy Jebediah?
I thought he was just like making like fun of.
Those are actually pretty good Amish names. I like those. Are good Amish names to come up with off the top of
Jebediah and Mordecai. Yeah, that's pretty good. Spring practice is over, right?
Yeah. It ends with the spring games and final practice.
Okay, that's what I thought. So I mean, hey, it's about time to have our in the next coming weeks to have our after spring schedule predictions.
Yeah,
we'll probably wait a couple more weeks to see how the transfer portal encloses. Yeah. You had us 9-3.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say we get Zaquan Patterson and like another defensive tackle that's a depth piece. Based on what we saw in spring, the couple transfer portal additions we make, do you think you're going to stick with 9-3?
I'll probably be sticking around 9-3. I would think that's probably still kind of where I think this team is at, like in terms of the median outcome. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I had us at 10-2. I think I'm still pretty set on 10-2. I mean, just the way I look at the schedule is the fact that I look at any game and I think we can win it, which, like, again, we talked about a lot. Like, it's something we haven't been able to do. I haven't looked at the Georgia game or like Texas last year and thought we could win those games until this coming up season. And then I look at, okay, what's going to be the deciding factor? It's either going to be, if it's looking from Florida's perspective, it's going to be DJ Lagway, who has been a really elite deciding factor in games, or it's going to be Billy Napier and his poor play calling.
Yeah.
So it's really going to be what wins out.
Yeah. 100. I mean, totally agree.
Totally agree there. All right. Do you have any final words you want to say before we end the show there, or end the show?
No, I mean, I think, you're kind of seeing spring game in the books. We're sort of entering the dog days, but the one I think, as much as people complain about the new sort of the new world in college football, the result has been there's interesting stuff to talk about kind of throughout the season, or throughout the off season, I should say. So, spring game done, but we're still keeping an eye on transfer portal, on recruiting, on, kind of all of that. And obviously it will be nice to see, hopefully DJ starts throwing again soon. But yeah, that's kind of, in the meantime, we're just going to keep monitoring this thing as Florida tries to get everything finalized with their roster and such.
Yeah, it's now 7-3. It's only the bottom of the fourth, so it's 7-3 now in the baseball game. I hate to end the show off with a little bit of bad news. Tavares Dice, he tore his ACL.
Oh, that sucks.
I mean, yeah, true freshman season. This is where you see the most development from these guys. Tore his ACL is what I hear. So he's going to miss the next year, really. really sucks for your highest rated offensive lineman. You hope to get the most amount of development you can out of him. But yeah, I mean, you really hate to see it for Dice.
Yeah, that just sucks. No other way to say it.
I mean, I'll end this off here. George, I just want to beat Miami and FSU and win the national championship. That's all I want. We will see you guys next week, probably on Saturday. Tyler has some wedding stuff, I believe he told me. So
Yep,
we'll
got
probably
one
see you
here
guys.
too.
So we'll probably see you guys next Saturday on wedding after because of the wedding. But actually, we just got a commitment. Oh, wait, that's baseball. Never mind. Okay. Well, that's baseball. All right. We will see you guys next week. I guarantee we beat Georgia. See you guys next week. I'll leave you off this as always. Go Gators.